Welcome to the Story A Day podcast. This is Julie Duffy from storyaday.org, encouraging you to be a writer every day, not someday. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Julie from Story A Day here. I saw a tweet this week and it said, am I overly emotional because I'm a writer? Or am I a writer because I'm overly emotional? I see these kind of questions a lot. I see a lot of people identifying themselves as highly sensitive people or overly sensitive people or overthinkers. And I want to invite you this week to consider whether or not that's a bad thing. I've noticed that in the world of highly successful people, high achieving people, the people who stand out and the people who get the most done are the people who didn't fit in at school. What were you teased about at school? Me, it was for being overly emotional, among other things. But crying at the drop of a hat, that was absolutely me. And it was a nightmare because, of course, everybody points and stares and laughs in that situation. But think about this. What do you think Bill Gates was teased about at school? I'm betting it was about being a nerd. I don't even know if Tiger Woods went to school, but I'm pretty sure if he did, he was probably teased about being obsessed with golf. The things that make us unique don't work in early life. And that period of our life is so formative that we begin to tell ourselves stories about ourselves based on the stories other people told about us at the time. So if you think that you are too quiet or antisocial or too introverted, and I've been talking about this for a few years here, I want you to think about that not as a detriment. I don't think you're too anything, and I don't think you're not enough of something else. I think you're you. People also ask me a lot about whether they can be original. So many people are writing, so many people have written throughout time. And then you run across these articles which say, oh, there are only 12 story plots in the world, or 3 story plots in the world, or 21 story plots in the world. And you say to yourself, well, how can I possibly have anything to say that's of any worth that anyone's going to listen to? You know, what is the point in me writing another story if there are only 21 plots and if there are a billion books published? And it can be very easy to talk ourselves out of doing the thing because we feel like we don't have anything to say. But I want to remind you that if you ever felt like a little bit of a misfit, if you ever felt a little bit weird, that's your uniqueness showing. That's your you showing. And I have noticed that in business, for sure, the thing that people crave is someone who's not telling them what everyone else is telling them. They're looking for someone with a spark. They're looking for someone with a little bit of weirdness. We're also incredibly sensitive, incredibly interested in the human condition and what makes people tick. It's one of the things that makes us easy to hurt, but it's also one of the things that makes us perceptive, able to show what it's like to live in someone else's skin in a story. These are all things that people crave. So if you're wandering around with a story about yourself that says, I'm not enough or I'm too something, embrace it. Let's celebrate. You know, I am an emotional person. But in this grown-up world where I'm a creative person, and I get to choose who I hang out with, more or less, I'm finding it's a strength because people like it that I'm honest and emotional and I'm not pretending to be anything else. You might not be over emotional. You might be really funny, or you might be really analytical. You might have a real talent for planning and seeing the what might go wrong. Put it to work. Embrace it. Be more you. I know I talk about this stuff a lot, and I'm not talking about specific writing techniques very often here on this podcast because the specific writing techniques can be learned. You can gain them. You can go to a workshop. You can go to a conference. You can ask someone's advice. You can get an editor. But if you don't believe that you have something to say and that you are worth hearing, then none of that stuff will matter because you won't do the work. And I see it over and over again. The people who can get their head in the right place and give themselves permission to write are the people who succeed. They start to gain momentum. They start to gain followers. They start to gain readers. They start to put out more. They start to get asked to contribute things to anthologies or, where's your next book coming from? You can do that. You absolutely can. And the only way you can do it is by getting comfortable with who you are. Celebrate your weirdness. We're all a little weird out here. That's what makes us interesting. That's what makes us worth listening to. Your perspective on life is going to create stories that no one else can tell. Celebrate your weirdness. That is my sermon for this week, and I'm going to leave it there. Happy writing. I hope that if you are coming into the holiday season, as I am, that you are able to take some time to enjoy and live. Or if this season gives you plenty of time to write, go for it and share with us what you're doing so that we can celebrate you and your weirdness. Keep writing. If you want to learn to write, don't read another book or article. Start writing. I'm here to invite you to consider the Story a Day 3-Day Challenge. It's a challenge and a workshop that gets people writing and completing stories in just 3 days, and it works. I'm fanatical about getting more and more diverse stories into the world, and I think yours should be among them. If you're feeling the pull to write or level up your storytelling, let me hold your hand through 3 days of short story writing. Check out the 3-Day Challenge at storyaday.org/3DC. Thanks for listening. Why not come over to the blog at storyaday.org and check out this week's writing prompts and articles. And in the meantime, have a great creative week and, of course, keep writing.